What's going on, guys? Jerry Neutron here, and I'm back with another video. And today's actually a pretty special video because I am finally getting to upgrade my personal rig. So for all 17 of you guys who have been watching my channel for a while now, you know that I started with a budget build. And thanks to the success of this channel, plus some of my own money, I've finally been able to put together a decent rig for myself. So in this video, I want to show you guys kind of the parts that I have picked out for this rig, as well as why I have picked them. And then in the upcoming videos, I will walk you guys through the actual build process and then some benchmarks so you guys can see how it performs. So before we get into that though, I just want to give a big shout out to HyperX and Be Quiet, who have both provided parts for this build. So thank you guys for that. And let's just go ahead and get into why I have chosen the parts and what exactly I have chosen. Okay, so for the CPU, I went with the Intel Core i7-4790K. You guys know what this is all about. 4 cores, 8 threads, pretty much a strong performer. And the reason I went with this CPU is number one, to help in video editing. Number two, of course, would be for gaming. And number three, I do plan on testing out some video cards in the future, and I just wanted to make sure I had a CPU that did not hold back those cards in any way. And for the CPU cooler, I'm going with the Be Quiet Dark Rock TF. What I really like about this CPU cooler is the noise to performance ratio. It's rated at a 220 watt TDP, so I have no doubts that it'll be able to push my 4790K to 4.5 or 4.6 gigahertz without a problem. And for the motherboard, I'm going with the Gigabyte Z97X Gaming 5. First of all, what I really liked about this motherboard, number one, was the aesthetics. I really like the red, black, gray theme that it has. But I also like that it's got plenty of USB ports on the back. It supports SLI and Crossfire. It's got a rear audio amplifier, an M.2 slot. Really just looks like a solid board overall, so that's really why I have chosen it in my build. It doesn't have the normal width of a standard ATX board, so hopefully that doesn't cause any issues, but I think it should be fine overall, and I'm excited to finally go ahead and use it after having it on my shelf for so many months. And for the RAM, I'm going with the HyperX Savage. This is a 16 gigabyte kit, so it's got two 8 gigabyte sticks. It's running at 1866 megahertz. And I really like the way this RAM looks. It's low profile as well, so I shouldn't have any compatibility issues with my heatsink. A lot of people go with the HyperX Fury RAM, which comes in a bunch of different colors. But I decided I didn't want to go with the entry-level RAM. I decided to take that next step up and go with the Savage, which has a little bit better timings than its Fury counterpart. And I've never had a system that had 16 gigs of RAM either, so I expect that to help a lot with video editing. For storage, I'm going with the HyperX Savage 240 gigabyte SSD. This doesn't have the best bang for your buck performance-wise, but it does hold its own, and it looks pretty damn good too, so I'm excited to go ahead and throw this in my system. And I'm also throwing in a 1 terabyte Seagate Barracuda hard drive, and this is something that I'll just use to store like my video files or any Steam games that I have. Really, it's just some extra cheap, reliable storage. And for the graphics card, I'm running the MSI R9 290X Lightning. So, funny story about this card, I actually won this card in a contest. So, short answer is that's why it's going in this build, because it was free, I won it, it's a freaking beast. And right now I'm playing games and rendering things at 1080p, so I really don't need anything more powerful than this. It would be nice, but this card can definitely hold its own as far as performance goes. It's huge, it runs cool, it's just a beast all over. I like the back plate on it, so it's definitely going in there. I'm not sure what to do about that yellow yet because that's kind of clashing with the build, but from a performance perspective, I have no worries about throwing it in my system. For the power supply, I'm going with the Be Quiet Dark Power Pro 11. So this is actually Be Quiet's newly released flagship power supply. It's, I guess you could call it semi-modular. It's got an attached ATX cable, but really it is 850 watts. It's 80 plus platinum certified. This thing is super silent with that 135mm fan, and I also like that with this power supply you can actually connect your case fans directly to it and allow it to control the RPM of the fans through the power supply. So I think that's pretty awesome. Also, one thing is this power supply has 4 independent rails, but it actually has a switch where you can bridge the 4 rails together to make one single PSU rail. So if you're concerned about multi-railed PSUs and you don't like them, you can always switch it to a single rail mode just with a simple switch that they include, and you don't have to worry about it if you are overclocking the hell out of your graphics card. Pretty cool. I'm excited to go with it. The only thing I really don't like about it is the cables. Give us some all black cables, be quiet, please. All black, that's all I want. And make it fully modular since this is your flagship unit. If someone's spending this much money on a power supply, they probably want to change the cables out too. And speaking of cables, in order to hide those ugly colored cables that I'm getting with the power supply, I've gone with the BitPhoenix Alchemy PSU extension cables. So right now I only have the 8-pin CPU connector and the 24-pin ATX one, but I'll be running those, and that'll allow me to again get rid of those colored connectors. I've got these all black ones, and they actually look pretty solid. There's no visible heat shrink, and they are all individually braided cables, so they look pretty solid so far, and I think they're going to work out well. And I'm stuffing this all into a white Phanteks Enthoo Pro case. So we all know the Enthoo Pro has awesome bang for your buck performance as far as a case goes. It's got a great layout, lots of modular drive cages, and even water cooling mounting options, which we don't need in this case, but overall it's a pretty solid case to go with. Initially what I wanted was a black mid-tower ATX case. Fortunately I wasn't able to get my hands on one, so I'm just going with what I have. I still think it should perform pretty solid, and it'll look pretty good with the theme that I have planned out for this build. So that's what I'll be using for this build. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Be sure to throw me a like if you enjoyed this video. Also subscribe to make sure you see the next episode where I put all of this together. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm out, guys. Until next time, see ya. So in this episode of Build a PC, what I'm going to do is put together a budget X99 build, and this can be for content creation, gaming.